Warriors fans, rumors are swirling. Our main assistant coach, Kenny Atkinson, may be out the door. Who will he coach? We're going to break it down for you, and if it's a big loss for the Warriors. In addition, Paul George, Donovan Mitchell, trades to the Warriors? Is it possible? Rumors are swirling, and we're going to break it down for you. The feasibility, money, players in and out. All that and more on this episode of Warriors Digest. Randy Silver here. Please subscribe so you don't miss any of the action all offseason. We're here for you. Kenny Atkinson, our main assistant coach. Shams is reporting he's a potential candidate for the Los Angeles Lakers. Just fired Darvin Ham after 2 seasons. In addition, Mike Budenholzer, JJ Redick, Tyronn Lue potentially, and others are going to be there. Kenny Atkinson has been with us for multiple years now. He took over the main assistant coach spot when Mike Brown left to go coach the Sacramento Kings 2 years ago. So let's break him down for you. If you don't know a lot about him, let's just show you his career because it's important. Started out as an assistant coach with the Knicks and then the Hawks. With the Hawks, that was under Mike Budenholzer, so he learned from some of the greats. Obviously, he won a chip with the Bucks. Got his break as the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. 4 seasons there. They did not do much. Then assistant coach with the Clippers and has been with us the past 3 years. Is he a good fit with the Warriors? Well, as the main assistant coach, his job is to do everything X's and O's, defensively, offensively, and help out. Mike Brown, fantastic defensive head coach. Let me break this down for you. I have some notes I'm going to share with you. So, the Warriors, defensive rating team, 106, 108 points, 106 points, 103 points, 102 points. The years they won the championships. Top 3 in the league each time. 2 years ago, 113 points, put them at 11th. 114 points, put them at 16th. So their defensive rating has gone down. Obviously, a lot of that is talent, but that's also coaching and the ability to get the best out of your players. When he was with Brooklyn, the best that his team's defensive rating was 14th place. So he's not really helping us the same way Mike Brown did defensively. What he was brought in for, though, analytics per Kerr. Kenny is the liaison between the coaching staff and the analytics department, and it's been massive. He's well versed in that stuff. He's a believer in analytics, and he's helped us get better. Now, analytics, as we know, is becoming a big part of the game, not just in basketball, any sports. How many minutes are the players playing? How do you maximize that? Who's on the court and when? What are the right lineups? How do you get them to go from shooting 35% to 38%? Everything like that. How can you gain an advantage? And so Kerr sees him as an analytics coach. With the Nets, Atkinson guarded his players, ran point in scrimmages, took charges, got dunked on. Open workout during the Warriors, he suffered a leg injury, couldn't be on the bench, came back. So he's also a player's coach. You know, a lot of coaches aren't out there being with the team, and the players respect that when you're out there every day hustling on the court with them. Obviously, some coaches are older than others, and they don't have the ability to be out there with the players anymore, especially young athletes in their teens all the way up to 30s, and you're in your late 60s, 70s. Not going to be a good situation. But players respect when the coaches are out there with them. Take it to Joe Mazzulla with the Celtics. Him and his staff, they play a full scrimmage before every game. It's well documented. Pretty cool. Players see that and they respect that. So good with analytics, good with the players. You can see why the Lakers would want him. But also, of note, in that year between 2022 and 2023, he was signed officially to become who? The Charlotte Hornets head coach. It was reported, signed the offer, go, and then he rescinded and came back to the Warriors. Probably made the right call because that team is a dumpster fire, respectfully to them. But also, he was given more responsibilities with the Warriors. Obviously, with Mike Brown leaving, helped him grow into that role a bit. But there was probably a reason he stayed. Lakers would be a great team. Who else needs a head coach right now? Well, actually, if the Clippers, they signed Tyronn Lue, boom, Hornets are open again. Could potentially go there. So there's some opportunities there. His name's been in the rumor mill again and again the past couple of years. So a head coaching gig is probably coming to him sooner rather than later. Now the question is it the Lakers the right fit? As a player coach, can you get the best out of LeBron, AD? AD is locked up. Is LeBron going to resign? How do you feel about that team? Can you deal with the pressure of coaching in LA as the head coach? So he was in Brooklyn. Bright lights in New York did not go well. Obviously, that team was pretty much, especially after the trades with Garnett and Pierce in the work, they really were in the hole. So it's a good conversation. Personally, I don't think he gets the Laker job. I think they go to a younger, more player coach. Darvin Ham was that mold, did not work out. I would love to see, and you're going to probably get me, Warriors fans, JJ Redick as the Lakers head coach. Knows the X's and O's, is young enough to relate to the players. Obviously, LeBron respects him, would want to be there. I think he has a good shot to be that head coach. And that's a big step. They kind of did that with Derek Fisher. Obviously, he was a Laker legend, had very minimal head coaching experience, didn't work out. Do they go that route again? We'll find out. What helps Kenny as well, he's an outside-the-box thinker, not afraid to engage. He's a risk taker, and he pushes out new ideas. And that's what you want from a coach. How do you try to grow and make your team stand out? How do you grow and you think outside that box? You invent something. You do something. What's that wrinkle that sets your team apart to help you win the championship? And what can help the Warriors win the championship is potentially growing this team, because we saw we need more help. So how do we get Paul George to come to this team? Warriors fans, this is going crazy through Warriors world. Is this even viable? So we're going to break it down for you. Right now, this is the Clippers payroll. He's on the last year of his contract coming up. $48 million. Pretty reasonable for a superstar. And when we look at other superstars, Steph is getting $59 million. We know that AD is around $67 million. LeBron, $67 million. Other people like that. So it's a relatively reasonable contract. In the final year, if he's not going to re-sign, then you trade him so you get assets back. So with that $48 million, how do you match that? Well, going out for sure has to be Wiggins. They play the same position, both like 6'8", 6'6", in that range. Strong guards. Better shooting than Wiggins, which helps out really well. We need more shooting. Now the question is Paul George injury prone? We're going to talk about that in a second. So Wiggins is out for sure because we need to get to that $48 million. And you probably have to get rid of Kuminga. They're going to want young assets. That's $7 million. Maybe Moody as well. So that puts you at $5 million, so $12 million. So that's a total of $38 million. $10 million more. And maybe they can do some draft picks to make that work. That helps out the Clippers. You still have Kawhi, and look at those contracts. Then you got James Harden, who they talked about wants to re-sign. And then you have some other players around. So is that a win-win? I think it actually hurts the Warriors because of this. We look at Paul George. He played the most games ever since 2017 when he was with OKC. 2018 with OKC. Was not hurt that much this season. Played in 74 of the 81 games. Fantastic job. So 80. He played in the 74 games of about the. He played the most of the games this season, 74 games out of the 82 game season. So great to see. When we look at his numbers, 22 points a game. His shooting percentage, 41% from three, one of the highest of his career, 90% from free throw line, and then from the field goal, 47%. So he's going to bring more shooting to us, which is great. We need that. So then your starting lineup, if you look at that, Steph, Paul George, Draymond Green, probably Brandon, and then Trace Jackson Davis. Is that enough to win you a championship? Probably not. And again, what we see is depth. You need depth to be able to be successful. So how are the Warriors going to build out the team around that when it comes to this? When you have committed salary, if you're going to make the trade even, you're still around that 174 mark, which is what they're currently at. And they want to stay below the second apron, ideally, if they're not competing. So it's going to be tough to sign some free agents. Maybe you can get a bunch of veteran minimum contracts to come through and help you out, but it's going to be uphill battle. So that's how you would potentially do Paul George. And the other person in the rumor mill is Donovan Mitchell. This one to me is a bit more far-fetched. I don't think he's as good as a fit as Paul George because basically him and Steph play the same position. They're both around 6'3", 6'4", shooters, want the ball in their hand, be able to create. So you're going to have what? Steph and Draymond, excuse me, Steph and Draymond, Steph and Donovan Mitchell both on the court together, that's a really small backcourt. People are going to be able to take advantage of that. When we look at the Cavaliers, they got some cap space going into next season. Mitchell's contract's only $35 million, so pretty reasonable for a star. So when you look at that, if there's going to be a trade, you can go back and get rid of Wiggins and you get rid of Kuminga, and you're basically right there. Maybe you throw in one of the player, the match salary, probably going to want maybe a couple draft picks, but that trade is physically and more reasonable in terms of actually matching money. We look at Mitch as a player, 26 points a game this season from 3-point, 36%, field goal 46%, 86% from the line. He's a baller. He's hungry. He wants to win. He's still coming in his prime. Again, he's only been in the league for like 7 seasons. He's around 27, 28 years old. So he would be that type of player you're looking, scorer, can help Steph. But I just don't think you can have a player like him who's just like Steph, kind of in the same body build. If you have him on the team, then what's your starting lineup? Steph, Donovan, Draymond, Moody, or Brandon, and Trace Jackson Davis. That's small. That's a small team. Maybe GP2. So I think you're going to still get beat by the Minnesotas of the world, Denvers of the world. They're just going to be taller. There are definitely going to be teams we can outscore, but it's going to be too tough there. So I don't think Donovan Mitchell is going to be the right fit. I do think Paul George could be the fit, stays healthy, but you're going to have to give up a lot to make that happen. And then, of course, Kenny Atkinson, as a coach, I think he'll stay with the Warriors one more year. I don't think he gets the Lakers job, but he'll get something soon. The stats show he's a great coach. Do you think that? Comment your thoughts on all we just talked about. And, of course, subscribe to Warriors Digest. You don't want to miss any of these episodes coming out daily. Deuces.